Hello everybody, I'm in the Peak District and behind me is Lady Bower Reservoir, which feeds water to a good portion of this part of England. But what you might not know is that deep beneath these waters are two submerged villages which have been lost in the name of progress. In today's video, I'll be taking you around the reservoir and discussing the history of how they became lost. The Peak District is a national park in the heart of England. You will find long, beautiful, twisting roads you could easily spend the day driving around, taking in the breathtaking scenery for hours that will have you looking in amazement in every direction, ranging from hills, mountains, forests, old stone towns and lakes. But one of the most well-known places is Lady Bower Reservoir. Lady Bower Reservoir was built between 1935 and 1943 to supplement water supplies to the East Midlands and Sheffield, but it took a further 2 years after construction for it to completely fill. Submerged underwater, you will find the ruins of two lost villages, Derwent and Ashopton, including the Derwent Woodlands Church and Derwent Hall. Ashopton stood roughly where the road to the Snake Pass met the Snake Valley. The buildings in Ashopton were demolished before the reservoir was filled, but much of the structure of Derwent village was still visible during a drought that exposed the ruins almost 15 years later. The clock tower of the church had been left standing, and the upper part of it was still visible above the water level until 1947, when it was seen as a hazard and was destroyed with explosives on the 15th of December that same year. Derwent had twisting streets of pretty cottages alongside which the River Derwent flowed under stone bridges. It had a small but tight-knit community with a number of houses and a school. Ashopton, however, was larger and busier than Derwent, being located on the main road between Sheffield and Glossop, and standing at crossroads where a journey could be broken. It had a large, bustling coaching inn, the Ashopton Inn, which was just as popular with visiting tourists as it was with local villagers. It also had a post office and general store, a garage, and numerous pretty stone houses and farms. Its industry was mostly based on farming, and annual wool fair was held in the village every July. Both villages were purchased compulsorily by the Derwent Valley Water Board, despite much local opposition, and the villagers were rehoused to the local village of Bamford to make way for the reservoir expansion. During the height of World War II, the reservoir was used as a training ground by the Royal Air Force pilots who were being sent over to Europe on dam-busting missions, as the size of it was perfect to practice low flying over water, and the distances of the towers being the same as their European counterparts. They still hold demonstrations of training exercises to this day. Since the construction of the reservoir, there have been several occasions during periods of long drought where the water levels become low enough to see the ruins of the villages once again. Although with global warming this is becoming a more frequent occurrence, the local authorities have asked that when this does happen, people don't walk out to visit the structures, as the mud can be dangerous, as can the structures themselves, and people have been known to vandalise or even take things from the site, and as this is part of the local history, they naturally don't want this to occur or for there to be any danger to the public if it can be avoided. Just to give you an idea of the sheer scale of how deep the reservoir was, I'm currently walking along the wall, and this is the water level, which isn't that high at the moment. But behind me is the valley on the other side of the wall. You can see how two villages were very easily lost down here. What I will say though is that the Peak District is absolutely charming. I was actually planning on filming another video here today, which is just along the Snake Pass, which is a long meandering road through the high peaks. And it is gorgeous. It's a fantastic driving road. I must come back here just to do a driving video. But I got to the top and there was fog everywhere, and it's a 4-hour round hike. And I was so gutted because I got up there and I'd planned it. I've been planning it for weeks, and it was clear all the way up until I got to the car park. So you're getting Lady Barrow instead, and I'll have to come back in spring or summer to film that video. But the countryside around here is something else. I mean, I know I talk all the time about how beautiful Kent is because it's where I live and I love it. But you just don't find hills and views and peaks like this in such a large magnitude as you do the further north you get. And like I've been saying, I want to expand out further this year. I want to go further afield. Ideally, I'd like to go abroad. But yeah, there'll be some more Peak District videos this year, and possibly even some Lake District and Wales. And with that, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for joining me along with this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and found out something interesting you didn't know. Keep tuned because I'm going to be doing more videos in the Peak District throughout this year. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Click down here to subscribe and all around to watch more videos. Until then, bye-bye.